Hey, I'm Empress Rose and welcome to our collective reading. As I was preparing for the reading, I was looking at my scrying ball. And at first I saw like a little lion cub. And then immediately that sort of transformed into a lamb, baby sheep, which is really interesting because we have March coming up. And the quote is in like a lion, out like a lamb, or in like a lamb, out like a lion. My understanding of that quote is that however March comes in, it's going to leave exactly the opposite. By the end of March, it'll be totally different. So, and then I saw a baby duck, a duckling. So 3 babies in there, 3 little babies, a cub, a lion cub, a lamb, and a duckling. So lots of new baby things, maybe new baby projects. I know sometimes we start projects or start things and they're so small and it's kind of like, oh yeah, I started a YouTube channel and it has 5 subscribers, but if you think of it as a baby, if you think of any project as a baby, then you don't really expect that baby to walk or run or go off to college when they're 3 days old. So just sort of allowing things to be babies and kind of thinking they're cute, even though you're hopeful and you're looking forward to a future where they are able to talk and walk and all that. Really enjoying sort of the baby stages of something, perhaps. So, all right. And now we've got Work Your Light, Oracle deck. Let's see what we have here. Interesting. Woo. All right. Well, the first one up here, Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. I love this, especially when we're talking about baby things. This also reminds me of a grandma and a grandchild, because obviously it says grandma. So, but laying the foundation, right? Before we can have the grandma, before we can have like the grandmother of Jesus. So before we can have Jesus or the full fruition of the plan, we have to have the plan or the bringer of the fruition of the plan, the mother. And then before that even, we have the grandmother has to give birth to the mother, which then gives birth to the Jesus, right? So, and my nose just started running. Hold on. All right. So talking about Anna, grandmother of Jesus, and then while I was getting my tissues, I pulled up the cards that fell on the floor. So those are sitting here looking really cool too. So, but I wanted to say a little bit more about this. And this energy can be about not being the center stage, but being someone that sets somebody else up for success. Being the teacher and watching the student take off, being the grandmother that sort of sets this in motion and prepares for a different phase of a project, different phase of something. So there's this assistance here, and someone may have done this for you, obviously we all have grandmothers, whether they're living or not, and whether we ever met them or not, or know who they are or not, we all have them. But this is someone making preparations. I guess like, I really feel like it could be someone who has made preparations for you or who has laid groundwork. And it could be you having laid some groundwork earlier, and this is calling your attention to some groundwork that you did a while ago, you laid a while ago. So that's what it looks like, laying the foundations, doing the groundwork so that something can come up. Preparing the soil so that the seeds can come, and so then the seeds can grow and bear fruit. So, but the first step of that is preparing the soil. Second step is planting the seed, that would be the mother. And then the third step is the fruit of those labors. So laying the groundwork for something, either someone's laid some groundwork and prepared people to receive you, or you've laid the groundwork, you're laying the groundwork for somebody else or even for yourself. So cover that. So then these cards that fell on the floor, we got, I really love them because they have this moon imagery in each one. There's 3, so they seem to tell a story altogether. They came out like this in this, actually they came out like this. So, in this order, and that's the order I would like to read them. So transformation, things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. So we have DNA here, which again is talking about grandmother energy. So There could be a psychic connection with a grandmother, or a DNA connection. Well, there's a DNA connection with a grandmother, but like yeah, some sort of, or a past life, medium connection, something like that. So things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. So this can be about body, about physical issues, about healing deep physical issues. It's also about changing. Like, you're not who you were a year ago. So maybe you laid groundwork for a project a year ago or a while ago, and you didn't finish up, you didn't follow up on that, you didn't pursue it. But that's because you needed to be who you are today in order to pursue it, or even to just take the next step in it. Because you're not who you were a year ago, or who you were when you laid the groundwork, is sort of how I'm seeing this now. Is you're not who you were when you laid the groundwork. That's important. That's crucial, because who you were at that stage needed to be that person. Now you're a different person, but now you're at a different stage. So you're ready for that. You're ready for the next stage, because you're not the same as you were. And you're changing. This can also be like a shift away from a grandparent. I also want to say, like, understanding, I don't know, this one always brings up DNA. Obviously, we have a DNA thing. So some sort of DNA relationship with your grandmother. There's a little tiny fruit fly here. Yeah, checking into that. Some of you may be doing DNA tests. Answer the call. What's your soul calling you to do? So this is, again, this can be about a calling. Can be about, what do you know needs to be done now? You're a different person than you were before. And now you can see something. And what is your next step, or what is your soul calling you to do? What do you need to do now? You have an understanding of what you need to do now, that you're a different person and that you've changed and you're growing. Like, we're all growing and changing, hopefully. I think it's I don't know how common it is for people to not change. Some parts of us remain the same. Some parts of us need to keep growing, need to keep changing. So I feel like there's like a new idea here for this phase of something, whether it's a relationship or a job. I feel more job-like, but that's just the analogies that are coming in to my mind. This could also be about parenting, parenthood. So what is it that you want to do? You've changed. And then maybe there's a new sense of a calling, new sense of just what to do next. So we don't need to think that big all of the time with tarot reading as calling, your big calling for your whole life. But there is something calling you, and it's paying attention to that and answering it. And then we have leap, which I love this after the call. What's your soul calling you to do? It's calling you to take a leap of faith, actually. You go first, the universe will catch you. So take this next step. You're ready for it. The groundwork's already been laid. Other people have gone before you. So don't think, if you're walking into a room and you're like, they've never seen anything like me, or they're not going to understand me. What I'm seeing here is that they might understand you more than you think, because they have actually met someone, maybe not exactly the same, but someone that maybe opened their mind a little bit to what you're bringing and what you're offering. So there could be more of an opening here than you see. And then so that's why taking a leap of faith is actually really important, because there's actually more groundwork laid than you're aware of right now. This leap isn't as risky as you feel, because you've only seen your part, right? This Anna, grandmother of Jesus, talks to me a lot about like each person having their part and playing their part in an overall picture. So to you, you're taking a leap of faith, but the soil's been prepped. People have already been talking about this. This is already a vibe. This is already maybe in the general culture. They've seen ads for something, not your thing, but something similar. This can also be, how would this be in relationship? This would be like taking a leap of faith in relationship, but the other person's done some work, or the other person has already the groundwork's been laid here. We don't need to relay groundwork. This isn't as fresh as it seems. This calling may feel new to you because you're different and you're new, but it's not as fresh and new as it seems. There's been a lot of work gone on behind the scenes, either by you or by somebody else. So this isn't quite a full leap of faith. And if you do take a leap, groundwork's been laid for you. You may or may not be aware of it. You may have never known your grandmother in this sense of whatever we're talking about here. You may have never known the predecessors that came before you, or how the other people are showing up to this. You may not be aware of that, so it feels like a scarier leap to you. But this is telling me that you're ready for something, and that something's ready for you now too. All right, we have the Dreamscape Oracle. Clap. That was a very thunderous. We have Palomino, work hard, play hard. And I kind of hate that because I also think there needs to be a relax hard in there too. But this is just a hardworking person. I always do see a Fabio here. I don't know how you could not. Those muscles, that hair, that blonde hair, that little like look on that horse's face. So there's also a sense of like, I don't know, raring to go is what I see. With the leap of faith and the Palomino here, we are raring to go. We are ready. Actually more ready than you think you are. And then there's just like a leap forward. This horse and this leap card are just looking, I mean, they're leaping in other directions. Maybe they're leaping towards each other, right? But there's this looks like a jump, a leap. This horse is ready to take off. Strength and power and speed, all right here with this Palomino. And it just feels like this is a horse's version of revving its engine. And then we have the light. All right, so clarity, seeing something, and I feel like something calling you towards growth, calling you to move up, to move towards growth, to move to the sun, to the light. Something being revealed that calls to you. This is reminding me of answering the call. Like a plant growing towards the light is being called up out of the soil. And we're talking about different phases of a project. And we're being called to move up out of the soil and into the light. And have some clarity there. See where we're going. It almost feels like that direction card we got last week. Seeing a very clear direction here. And being ready to go. And maybe it surprises you too. Maybe you're like, well, I don't know. And then all of a sudden you get this phone call and you're like, oh, okay, actually we are going. Actually, we are doing this. Actually, we're moving here. The Palomino and the light, especially the like sound they made as they came out, just feels so exciting to me. Just like, wow, let's go. You know what? This deck has a risk of giving me about 10 cards at once, which I don't want. So I'm going to lay it out here. All right. It all looks so uniform. It's so pretty, but it also nothing's sticking out at me. Here, we'll take that. And this out of the grid. I'll take this. All right. Curiosity and memory. Interesting. Curiosity, the door opens, go through. Okay, you don't know. This is a leap of faith. You don't know where it's going, where it ends. But if the door is open, you're going to walk through it. Whether, I love this one too, because this crow is not walking through with like conviction and knowing, and I know exactly where I'm going, and I know exactly what they're doing. They're like, wow, this door opened up for me. Well, let's see what's behind this door. Let's see what's in here. And it turns out these people are crow fans. So a bunch of other people hanging out. You're differentiating yourself from the group. You're moving into some space, maybe even going into someone's home. you're moving into a new space, and not everyone's been invited, and even if they were, they just don't have the cojones to do this, to walk into this space, to just sort of casually stroll into, you know, what is your soul calling you to do? This door opens up. You see, you're moving in, like it's dark out here, the door opens, there's some light. Well, let's just see what's behind this door. Let's just see what's inside here. Let's go. It's a little bit of a leap of faith. There's some risk here. Walking through this door, walking across this threshold, there is some risk. We're talking about that. But it's like this door opens, and I think that's the call, is this opening door, and you walk in and you're curious. You're coming with curiosity, not certainty. You're not 100% sure this is the direction, this is your calling. Oh, this ring is loud. You're not 100% sure this is what you're going to find, how this is all going to play out. But it's also reminding me of the groundwork being laid as far as like someone opening the door, some sense of expectation. Somebody's already welcoming you, even though this crow isn't far enough in this situation to realize that it is in a welcome space, that this is where it belongs. It's not far enough across this threshold to be able to see that there's been some sort of expectation, and that this crow is exactly what this person's been looking for, be it work, be it a relationship, a friendship. But so the groundwork's been laid, as in these people are already crow fans. They already want to see you. They're already happy to see you. They're excited. Look, the door opened, and look, one of those crows actually came in. We got ourselves a little crow here. But you're not far enough into this situation to really realize that this is a place where you belong. I don't think you know. I think you're just curious about something, wondering how it turns out, what's behind this door you go through, but there's something there that's welcoming you, that was hoping for this, welcoming this. But for you, you know, you're just coming into the situation. You don't really see it. You don't know. And then memory, this is about sort of some triggered memories. Well, the crow remembers, well, again, this actually brings up this grandmother card. As far as something in your past, could be memories of a grandparent, could be that you need to, you know, remember, who were your grandparents? What did they do? What did they value, and how does that match with you, and how do you differ from that? No judgment, just how are you different? How have you changed? How have you changed even maybe the family narrative and the story? How are you different from your ancestors and the people whose DNA you inherited? How are you different from that? But there is some sort of exploration here into your history, your family history, and perhaps how you're different from that, how you've changed sort of the family narrative, how you've broken away from family. I don't know. Different people like different things, right? So no judgment. So you're breaking some sort of mold, I think. And then there's also memory, like people from the past could be coming back. You'll recognize them. You'll be like, yeah, that's a good one. Yep, that's right. Yep, that's the right thing. But there is something from the past that you're remembering. The groundwork's been laid. You might be, you know, someone may contact you again, and you'll be like, okay, yeah, I remember you. This also can be a little bit alarming. There can be some alarming memories back there where you just feel like, I keep seeing this lady, in my mind, she's pregnant, but when I look closer, she's not. She's just wearing a shirt, you know, a little peplum shirt maybe, or baby doll, something. But there's like memories here of like good people, but also alarming memories. I don't really see a lot of PTSD here. I just feel like this relates to some sort of past experience, that there's a little more completion here now. But things you remember will come back to you. You laid a bunch of groundwork. You've changed since then, but you'll remember the things you need to remember too, is another message I'm getting here. You'll remember, once you see it, you'll remember exactly what you need to remember. And just be curious about, and that's the thing about curiosity too, is there's not a lot of judgment in curiosity. We don't know enough to judge. That's just kind of a blanket statement that's just generally true. But asking questions, and there's a sense of not judging, and there's an open-mindedness here. We're not goal-oriented. And that's the other thing. The answer the call, what's your soul calling you to do, can often feel very goal-oriented and very like, well, this is going to be my end goal. But what your soul may be calling you to do is just take a risk with curiosity, open-minded. You don't know where this is going. Just take a risk and see where it goes, see where it takes you. There could be memories of risks that you took in the past that didn't turn out. But there could also be like, oh yeah, I remember this. There's something, your memory gets jogged. You remember something then. But this only comes, I think, with an open-mindedness and a non-judgmentalness too. So this leap of faith seems less goal-oriented and more exploration-oriented to me. And this call, your soul calling you to do something, is more about explore something rather than like set a clear goal and go do it and find your big giant calling with a capital C and all of that. All right. Underlying background issue here, the wheel, the end of something, completing something, a birthday perhaps, a anniversary of some kind, but some sort of completion. The year is complete, a cycle is complete. But with the wheel, it's much bigger than a cycle. Like all of our lives have a cycle as well, right? And so the tens talk about the end of a certain situation, a certain cycle, completed well, completed poorly, we just forgot about it, moved on, whatever. But the wheel is more of one of the larger cycles and phases. So it's a ending of a phase, end of an era here is sort of what's going on in the background. There's the end of an era. We start a new era every time we end an era. There's no like, 20th century and 21st century. There's no non-century labeled moment between those two. We're ending an era. Sometimes an era ends because we started a new one. Sometimes we start a new era. Sometimes we end an era, but immediately that means that it's a new era, right? So, end of an era, beginning of a new one, cycle complete, an anniversary, completion. That's kind of what's going on in the background here. Past, present, inner landscape, what's at issue, environment, to-do list, possible outcome. No way, you guys, totally different deck, multiple shuffles, got the same to-do list as last week. And I got 2 tens, which we were talking about, the tens. And this is one of the tens I was seeing. I wasn't seeing this 10, but I was seeing it from a different deck. And oh my goodness, 2 8s plus the moon's at 18. Oh my gosh, you guys, this wheel just really, I don't know, we could just, there's details to come out here, but we could just end it right now because I've got a 10 of emotions right above an ace of voices and ending right above a beginning. So, all right, let's dig in here. 10 of emotions. We did it. Yay. We completed something and it was successful. It was good and everyone was happy about it. Everyone was happy with it. Yeah, it's got the ta-da, we did it vibes. I think this card has actually come up quite a bit lately. It has to do with relationships, with groups, and with having achieved something. And it turned out well. And it reminds me of doing a play or something like that where we're done with the run. We sold out almost every show. And this is the final bow here. There's also something about onion layers here and maybe a layer of success. maybe successful on multiple layers. This had a lot of success. You finished it. It's done. You worked with other people on it, and it was really good. It was really good. And sometimes those endings can be really bittersweet because, like, we liked doing this. We liked working with these people. We bonded with these people. It feels really good. And now it's over. So there can come a little bit of sadness with the 10 of emotions as far as this is it. I'm never going to work on this show with these people again in this way. This set is never going to exist again in this way. So there, to me, this 10 of emotions actually is feeling like there might be layers of feelings here. It's overall happy completion, but there's also a little bit of sadness here about, well, those were good times and now they're over. Well, that was really fun. We did it. We, made our family together and now it's over. There's something that was like really good at some point and it's just run its course. It's just done. And that can come with some bittersweet emotions here. In your current situation, 8 of Voices, you're feeling very much like you can't do something. Maybe like you can't move on. Maybe you can't. Every time you say you can't, though, you kind of make it truer than it was the moment before you said that. So, because this is about in your mind and how your mind is dealing with something, and it sort of seems to be trapped in the matrix or in a lot of self-doubt or just not seeing possibilities, not being able to see the future, perhaps not being able to see the possibilities, feeling really tied down by your own thought process, which is so tricky. And we all have our own thought processes that tie us down in different ways in different parts of our life. And like, it's almost like once you can see it, then you can make the choice to do something differently. But until you can see it, you're kind of just stuck. I think this came up in either a personal reading or a general reading. Oh. This is really funny. This is Jack's food coming out here, which seems to happen in every reading. I swear I'm not feeding him that much. But until you can see that you have a choice, until you can see where you are stuck, where you are sticking yourself, until you can see that, you remain stuck. So I think the quote is like, is it Carl Jung? It's just like all our subconscious can really, the stuff that we can't see sort of dictates our lives or has a lot of control over us because we can't see it. Once you see it, that's half the battle. And then, you pretty much know how to deal with it after that and what needs to happen. Most of the time, sometimes it's a little more confusing, but in a way, our mind can rob us of making choices, sometimes subconsciously as well, because maybe the choice feels too daunting or too scary or too much responsibility or too much ownership over something. And so our subconscious can play a role in preventing us from seeing our choices and seeing our options because it's afraid of what happens next. Once we see it, then there are choices and decisions that have to be made. So you may be feeling trapped in a certain area in your life and you're not externally hemmed in. You may have been at one point, but now you are free to go and free to make choices and free to make decisions, but you can't see it. So or if you can see it, you don't think it's possible. You may be thinking, oh, that would be a dream to experience that, to have that. That's never going to happen. I can't do that. Those sorts of crappy mantras. So the 8 of Voices is really my crappy mantra card. So get a new mantra to replace the crappy one. Your brain's going to do some looping all by itself naturally. That's just what they seem to do. And so that's where mantras come in really handy, is it's not even about replacing. It's just like, fill your brain with a different loop, and then hopefully this one just dissipates and gets let go of. So that's one place where you can make choices. The choices that are easier to make are sort of like, what do you want to think about and how to loop that rather than always focusing on what you don't want to think about anymore. And then also, I want to just say breath work can be a pretty easy way to work with your psyche and your subconscious and all of that, because it's physical. So you can sit there and force yourself to count to 4 and do some 4 square breathing and stuff like that. And that can change your mindset and help you shift emotions and give you a little breathing room to shift things. So a little breathing room, haha. But it's a physical thing that you can do that's not quite as mushy and confusing as the brain can be and as the psyche can be. So anyway, it's just about not thinking you can do it. But here we have you're different than you were a year ago, okay? So you can probably do this more, and you're being asked to take a leap of faith. And I don't think it's a very big leap. I think it's like a leap out of curiosity. So that might be another way to break up sort of the gridlock in your mind about what you can do, what you deserve, and all sorts of subconscious issues there, rather than, I mean, you do need to dig into them a little bit, but not so much that you get mired down in it. But having some curiosity, well, what if I responded differently? What if I felt differently? What if I did something a little differently? That can be a way to sort of help unravel this sort of knot, this tangle in the mind, of just teasing it out with curiosity, like not going in there going, yep, I know if I yank on this thread it'll be fine, but like, maybe what if I pulled, no, not that one. Just a very gentle teasing out in a way of this knot here, and just kind of curiously pulling at different things. So it may feel like a leap of faith, but it needs to be out of curiosity and not certainty. So in your mind, your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape, 8 of inspiration. Oh, you want to talk about something? Maybe you don't want to talk about something. It's movement. It changes things. It moves fast. You'd like things to move quickly. I'm not sure we're in that space. Although with this Palomino here, look at it. They look like they're going to go for a run together. They're going to take this run together. I think she's going to be able to keep up with him. I see Tina Turner legs here, and those legs were powerful. And I think that's what we're seeing here, is this powerful ability to move forward. But that's what you want. That's what's on your mind. You're thinking, maybe worried too that something might move too fast, that there might be too strong of conversation, too intense of a conversation. But on your mind is talking, movement forward in the physical world, the thoughts being made real. It's interesting to watch. Some people just kind of have an idea like, oh, I'd like to do that. And then they do it, and then it's really successful. And you're like, how did that move so quickly? So that could be something you're thinking about. I think about that. How did that move so quickly? Was it alignment? Is it just something magical about them? How did that move like that? And then what's at issue here? I really like this one at issue. Actually, this is not an issue. 10 of inspiration. It's ending for you. There's not like a big something you didn't feel you could do or didn't see a way out of. It's like something's ending for you. 10 of inspiration is like a gravity assist, and we already have like the wheel. We already have orbits and spinning. Well, that's like centrifugal force, but that's assisting, right? We've got a merry-go-round in the playground, and you want to get off, and guess what? The merry-go-round goes really fast, and you get spun off anyway. So great, perfect. Now you're off the merry-go-round. Great, you wanted to get off, but you didn't know how to get off. You didn't know if you could say, can you please stop? Because all the other kids might not like it if you ask them to stop. And, well, you just get flung off anyway. So now you're off the merry-go-round. Yahoo. Right? You got flung off pretty fast. So 10 of inspiration, this is about like not really wanting to worry about something anymore. And, oh, looky here. Here's a perfect opportunity to stop worrying about that. It's being taken, the burden is being taken from you. Someone is coming to you and saying, hey, can I carry that for you? Or, hey, this is where you put that down. Here, let me help you. So it's not really at issue. It may feel like it's at issue if it moves too fast, where it can feel like someone's grabbing something out of your hands. They're just there to put it down, though, and help you along your way. It may not feel that way. It may feel a little too fast, a little too strong. But you were like, where do I put this? And someone comes up and either says, oh, I know, and puts it down for you, or says, grabs it without saying anything and puts it down, because they can just see on your face that you need to figure out a way to put this down and let go of this. So, but you're getting assistance in this. It's not, and whether you welcome that assistance or not is kind of up to you and your mind frame. But I don't think you're going to have a choice whether you're going to carry this, keep carrying this, or not. I don't think you really are seeing much of an option here. And so it's kind of being taken out of your hands. So someone is doing the thing that you thought you had to do, or something like that. So not a big deal. I mean, it can be a big deal. It can be a big deal, especially if it's out of your control and a little bit forceful, and maybe came with some unpleasant communication. In your environment, Ace of Voices, a new opportunity. Again, that World card, something ends, something begins. So yay, we did it. Here's a new opportunity, but it's also, well, it's voices. So it's truth, it's epiphany, but this could be someone else having an epiphany, right? That groundwork being laid for you to come in. Someone else has an epiphany. You know what I need? I need someone with this exact skill, but you don't know that they're looking for you. So you're just walking in there and you're like, I guess this is a leap of faith. And they're like, no, actually you. So that's kind of metaphorically what's going on. They could have someone's had a realization, an epiphany, an understanding. They see something very clearly. This could also be, we have Ace of Voices and Eight of Inspiration, 2 communication cards. Someone could be talking to you very clearly. You kind of wanted them to talk to you very clearly, but it's kind of a little worrisome that they're talking to you quite that clearly. They're like, give me this, as far as the burden that you're not worrying about anymore. They're like, give it to me. And you're like, wow, that was a little fast. And then maybe they don't mean it to be that forceful or that direct, but somebody is having a realization. There's some sort of truth perhaps being revealed, perhaps dawning on a whole group of people that you work with. There's a truth coming in here. Where everyone's sort of starting to realize something is also what this could be, sitting under 10 of emotions. Something's ended, but it's with a group, and there could be some sort of realization with this ending of like, oh, what? Wow. That's what I'm hearing is, oh my goodness. So some sort of communication, some sort of truth, but it's about some sort of ending here, some sort of bigger cycle ending. Your to-do list sitting under this Eight of Voices is just powerful. So this Eight of Voices is all about thought processes that keep us limited in limited beliefs. This Moon card is all about dealing with those, plumbing those, looking into the depths here. And the Moon card is about the things you can see and the things you can't see. It's also here to remind us that there are times when we can't see anything, or we can't see anything because it's a new moon. We can only see partly because it's a partial moon, and then we can see full as much as we can see from our position here in the full moon. So there's different cycles, there's different phases of a situation. This could be an opportunity for you to see more fully your whole thought process. The moon can be about subconscious issues, about discerning between intuition and impulsivity, discerning between intuition and fears, discerning between the truth. We have the truth here. It's external to you, but you need to deal with either maybe what this awakens in you, this external truth coming in, because the truth is out there. It's maybe the truth is out there. It's maybe been communicated to you. It stirs up a lot. So this is plumbing your depths for your truth, subconscious issues. What is this stirring up for you? And there's also this sense of your own thoughts holding you back, and the moon is asking you to take a closer look at those. What are those thoughts? Because they may feel like, oh, I don't know, I just lost interest in that. Well, did you just lose interest, or did you get frustrated? Did hopelessness overwhelm you? And that looks like just losing interest in something, but in fact, it's actually like a psychological self-sabotage. What is that? So looking at those, understanding that subconscious issues are present in our everyday and do have a lot of say, and we might rationalize them to say that it means this, it means that, but that's not it at all. It's something else. It's something deeper that's going on. So just looking at your own inner issues again of like, what holds you back? Why aren't you hearing this call, listening to this call, taking this leap of faith? Why wouldn't you do that? And And then exploring our subconscious issues and maybe even our shadow selves, the selves that we're ashamed of, we're embarrassed about. We'd like to, like a cat in a litter box, kind of cover that up. No, you don't see that. You don't smell that. That never happened. So actually being a little more curious about that kind of thing and like, what is going on there? What did just happen? That's kind of weird talking about cat box. But yeah, I mean, have some curiosity, maybe even about your own health and well-being. And what is this truth bringing up for you? What are the issues it brings up for you? And what is this, maybe a new communication, maybe someone reaches out, stirs up a bunch. And where you thought you were stuck, really explore that. I mean, don't get too far in your head either, and the light, the full moon, being able to see something a little more clearly, maybe about something that happened in the past, and being able to see that clearly too. I can see that here because this moon card, I put it right on top of the memory card. So being curious about truths that are available to be known and that are out there, and all the stuff that's inside of you. So where are we going? Queen of Emotions. I kind of see this as journaling it out. This is someone with a lot of feelings that are under the surface. So you might be meeting up with this person. They have a lot going beneath the surface. There's a lot going on that you don't see. Again, I'm seeing like this is our third card of all the things you don't see and you don't know about, and the groundwork that's been laid that you don't know about, the things going on behind the scenes that you have no idea about. So this is just kind of highlighting that there is somebody here with a lot going on behind the scenes that they aren't sharing. It's a very introverted energy. It's someone who's very introverted. This could be you. So this could be talking to you about like you learn some sort of truth. It triggers a lot inside you. You don't have to share that. You can keep it private if you want. If you want to share it, you can too. But this Queen of Emotions is very introverted about that. Give yourself some time to really listen to yourself. Listen to what's going on and gain some greater discernment and insight into your own psyche. But Queen of Emotions, she's, the surface looks calm and cool, but underneath there's quite a huge number of emotions, layers of emotions, complex emotions, like we were talking about with this 10 of emotions, all underneath the surface. So something may be ending and it brings up a lot of emotions that you do need to process. You're going to need to process these emotions. There's a lot going on here emotionally. And this seeing the light, the light, the truth comes out about something. And there's a lot of feelings and emotions around that. I don't think you necessarily need to go on social media and tell everybody about it, although some people, that is their path, that is their way that they deal with that stuff. But this is about like some very deep issues that are coming up that you need to deal with. Okay. And white owl. Of course I love a white owl here. We also have, look at this, the white owl over here in this truth here. And then these prayer flags, it almost seems like asking for something, wanting something, and it comes. It's very direct. White owl, the wisdom and messages of the divine are within you. Nothing could be clearer than with this card and with this card. The wisdom and messages of the divine are within you. This is a very highly intuitive card. The moon card, did I forget to mention that? Very highly intuitive. So, we got to figure it out. What's our fears, what's intuition, and all of that. But very highly intuitive card. Your intuition is in peak condition right now, and you are definitely receiving messages and understanding, I think, the full ramifications of what they are. The wisdom and messages of the divine are within you. So really highlighting that intuitive inner knowing that comes with the moon card. And then we're going to look up the little mantra. Since we were talking about mantras earlier, I think we definitely need to look up the mantra here. They call them affirmations, but they work as mantras as well. It's pretty much the same thing. I honor the messages and guidance of the divine that arise within me. So honoring those messages, honoring your inner knowing, and not being held back with that. Now I'm seeing this 8 of voices as sort of like refusing to follow your intuition, not feeling like you can follow your intuition about something. But I think working with intuition does take some amount of discernment. But there's a truth here, and it's like you saw it, you know it. And maybe you're continuing to keep it to yourself for now, because you might not be able to see a way out or a way forward or a way to talk about it. You might feel a little bit trapped, but you do know something. You do see something. All right. I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll talk again soon.